Hi everyone, I'm Shreya Raju, and I'm so beyond excited to formally introduce you to my brand new podcast called Room to Breathe. So, before I introduce what we're going to be getting into, I just want to let you know more about myself. So, I'm 16, I'm a Christian, and I currently live in California. I was born and raised here. Um, so let's get into some of my hobbies. If I had to talk about my favorite thing to do in my free time, it would definitely be reading. I've loved reading ever since I was a little kid. Back then, I would just read whatever I could get my hands on, whatever my dad told me to read, whatever my I don't know, teachers and stuff recommended me. And it was a little bit pretentious, I'm not gonna lie. But now that I've gotten older, I've definitely refined my tastes and my favorite genres are mystery, psychological thriller, and primarily fantasy books. Um, I think my very long love of literature has kind of just vened into me also really loving the art of writing. I love writing poetry. I love writing short stories and narrative things, just kind of a little bit mix of everything. But apart from that, where it goes hobbies wise, I think athletically, I am not gifted at all. But I do really like swimming in my free time, and that's something that I do a lot. But apart from that, if I had to actually think about what I'm most passionate about in my life, it's definitely somewhere in the field of medicine. I just love learning new things about biology and anatomy, about the human body and different processes and everything. But what I'm most intrigued about is definitely the mystery and the wonder that is the brain. All the functions, how it works, why we think the way we do, and of course, what mental health truly is and what it really means. So that's kind of a pathway into what this podcast is going to be about. I think navigating adolescence, specifically high school, is just so tough. And that's a very cliche thing to say, but I think that we just spend our teenage years trying to figure out who we are in every sense of the saying. It's very difficult to find the balance and the footing of who we truly want to become as a person when we have to experience the rush of hormones, the pressures, and all of the expectations that we do. I just think that the ways that we deal and we cope with all the stress and negativity at this point in our life is so influential to how we develop because these are the habits that we will be carrying into actual adulthood and they're going to shape who we grow into. So, creating this podcast is kind of my way of creating a space to unpack this tangle of emotions and pressure that we have on our shoulders constantly. From the friendship struggles to the academic warfare, the juggling of all of the extracurriculars, and of course, our own mental health. I aim to get very, very real on this podcast and just be honest, whether I'm sharing my own stories, my own advice, or interviewing somebody and some very special guests. I have a lot of lessons that I still need to learn quite clearly, but I think I have grown a lot and I have learned so much from these past few years in high school. And I think one of those things is that it's okay to not have everything figured out by the ripe age of, I don't know, whatever teenage year you're on. And it's okay to feel completely burnt out sometimes. But by taking a step back and looking through everything from a deeper lens, hopefully we can just take a break and just learn healthy ways that we can actually deal with and fix all the struggles that we're going through. So this isn't something that's going to be super formal. It's going to be very casual, like a conversation. Most of the episodes is just going to be me going solo, talking to you guys, but there definitely will be a bunch of episodes with special guests that I will interview, and I'm so excited for those as well. So I cannot wait to share my stories and hopefully learn a bunch of things from you guys too. I'm just so excited to explore what's beneath the surface and to just hopefully create a safe space where we all have some room to breathe. Thank you guys for listening, and I'm so excited to see you next time. Goodbye.